Hello everyone, welcome to Inconvenient Truths. I'm your host, Jennifer Zeng. Today I will talk about two topics which are tied to the same central theme, the CCP expanding military power. What kind of message does Xi Jinping want to send with the three newly added warships? Will China go back to Mao's time by promoting the Red Army spirit and rewriting the CCP history? The Chinese regime recently unveiled three new warships to commemorate the 72nd anniversary of the founding of the Chinese Navy. The ships will be part of the regime's South China Sea Fleet. One Chinese media outlet claims that the move is meant to intimidate Taiwan, neighboring countries in the Indo-Pacific region, and the United States. The three warships unveiled by Xi Jinping on April 23rd are Changzheng 18, a ballistic missile submarine, Dalian, a destroyer, and Hainan, an amphibious assault ship. Xi attended the commissioning ceremony and personally presented the CCP military flag and naming certificates to the captains and political commissaries of the new ships. According to the CCP's media, the Changzheng 18 is capable of launching a second strike, which means that it can respond to an attacker with powerful nuclear retaliation. Dalian can act as a guardian ship to carriers like Liaoning and Shandong, while Hainan would be used to land on enemy territories, a mission similar to the well-known Normandy landings, and act as a command ship during such operations. The CCP media says that unveiling three ships in one day was an unprecedented event. And what is the purpose? According to the CCP's own military experts, adding three new warships will greatly enhance the CCP Navy's ability to seize islands as well as its secondary nuclear counterattack capability. Meanwhile, this move also contains significant political signals that target Taiwan, countries in the South China Sea region, and the United States at the same time. The warship serves as a warning. The CCP experts said that the CCP's first warning is aimed at Taiwan, and the message is: the Chinese military has the ability to seize the island, and the Dalian and the Hainan ships can carry out this combat mission. The second warning is meant for the neighboring countries in the South China Sea. The CCP has the ability to solve disputes in the region by force. The third warning is for the United States. Beijing can use the Changzheng 18 as a powerful tool to defend the country when its conventional weapons are not powerful enough, as Changzheng 18 is a nuclear submarine. On the same day when the three new ships were unveiled, the CCP's media Legal Daily published an article titled "Reporting to the Party Flag from the Ocean." It states that the goal of the CCP's Navy is to resolutely listen to the party's command, accelerate the transformation and development, build a first-class Navy, and be ready for war at any moment. After handing over the three warships to the South China Sea Fleet 2 days later, on April 25th, Xi Jinping visited the CCP's Red Army Long March Xinjiang Battle Memorial Park in Guilin City, Guangxi Province, to continue to send his messages. Xi declared that the Xinjiang Battle was an important historic event that decided the fate of the CCP's revolution and called on the people to persevere in the most difficult times in order to achieve miraculous victories. He urged the Chinese troops to think of the long march of the Red Army and the bloody battle on the Xiangjiang River, even if the difficulties are great. The so-called Bloody Battle of Xiangjiang took place between late November and early December in 1934, and it was the first civil war between the CCP and the Kuomintang. The CCP's Red Army lost nearly 70% of its troops. The number of its soldiers dropped from nearly 100,000 to 30,000. The Red Army was besieged by the Kuomintang army and was forced to flee to southwest China. The CCP has always claimed that this fleeing process was the 25,000-mile long march and called it going north to fight the Japanese. This is one of the biggest lies the CCP ever made. The fact is, the battlefield where the Japanese troops were fought was not in the southwest, but in the northeast of China, and it was the Kuomintang, which is in Taiwan now, that fought the Japanese. The CCP not only didn't fight the Japanese army, but took advantage of the opportunity when the Kuomintang was fighting the Japanese to expand its territory and its army. If Japan had not invaded China, the CCP would have been eliminated as an illegal force by the Kuomintang long ago. The Xiangjiang battle we just mentioned happened 3 years before China's anti-Japanese war. The CCP's Red Army was almost completely wiped out. On April 25th, the same day that Xi Jinping gave a speech on the Xiangjiang battle, Xinhua published an article claiming that a fleet of Chinese Marine Police vessels were cruising in territorial waters of the Diaoyu Island. In addition, Xinhua reposted another article titled "Japanese Media: Chinese Ships Come Too When the U.S. Military Practices Airdrops Around the Diaoyu Islands." Citing a report from Japanese media Nikkei, Xinhua said that while the U.S. military conducted drills near the Diaoyu Island, or Sakaku Islands as it is called in Japan, Chinese Marine Police vessels and fighter planes had approached from the sky and sea to provoke. Xinhua rarely quoted Japanese media's narrative about the Japan-US Secretary Treaty, stating that Article 5 of the treaty stipulates that the U.S. is obliged to defend Japan should its territories come under attack, and that the Japanese and U.S. leaders have repeatedly confirmed that the waters of the Diaoyu Islands are also applicable to this provision. The Xinhua article also quoted Nikkei as saying that if Chinese forces land on the Diaoyu Island and its affiliated islands, the U.S. forces will join the self-defense forces of Japan in a counterattack to seize the islands. I have to say that it was very unusual for the CCP media to directly quote a Japanese newspaper and openly talk about the Japan-US Security Treaty, especially at a very sensitive time when the situation in the Taiwan Strait and the South China Sea is heating up. So we can view this as the CCP openly provoking the US-Japan alliance to demonstrate the CCP's ambition to gain global domination. The CCP has already begun its full-scale military expansion. Not only did it provoke Taiwan and other countries in the South China Sea and the East China Sea, but it also called out the United States. The CCP is also stirring up nationalist sentiment at home, encouraging people to worship the CCP's so-called revolution and its Red Army that liberated China. Let's see a few pictures together. You can see in this picture a group of women dressed in Red Army's uniform with a man with a mic standing in the middle, apparently doing some sort of TV show. This one is little children dressing like Red Army soldiers and reading the CCP's Red Books. This one is wives of the CCP leaders in Jiangxi province taking a tour to a revolutionary well and drinking some sacred water from the well. The stone tablet next to the well reads, "Never forget the well digger when we drink the water in it. We miss Chairman Mao all the time." This one is little children dressing like the Red Guards during the Cultural Revolution. And this one is a group photo of the teachers and cadres of China's best fine arts university, the Central Academy of Fine Arts. It was taken after they finished training to learn the CCP's revolutionary theories at the CCP's education base in Jinggangshan in Jiangxi province. Jinggangshan is called Revolutionary Holy Land by the CCP, as it was once the base of the CCP's Red Army. Now let's watch a video. This video was shot on May 6 in Nanyang City, Henan Province. The local Culture and Tourism Bureau planned and organized the so-called The Long March and the Red Army Experience Tour, in which people wear Red Army uniforms, sing Red songs, and simulate Red Army battles. I think we call this kind of thing cosplay in the West, right? While cosplay in the West is usually for fun, the CCP's cosplay is a serious political matter. The song in this video is very famous in China. It is called "Without the Communist Party, there would be no new China. Everybody must be very grateful to the CCP." This one is also a cosplay. Women dressed in Red Army uniforms escort an old woman who must be a counter-revolutionary bad person to have her condemned or even maybe executed, as that is what the CCP did before and after they took power in China. Another very worrisome matter is that the CCP is rewriting its history again. This year is the 100th anniversary of the founding of the CCP. To commemorate this, the CCP released a new version of the party's history in January. This new history book of the CCP has 10 chapters and about 280,000 words. A quarter of it is about Xi Jinping's achievements. It downplays or even deletes the mistakes made by Mao Zedong during and before the Cultural Revolution. And unlike older versions, there is even no chapter about the Cultural Revolution at all. This period of history has been combined with other periods, and unlike before, the CCP no longer refers to the Cultural Revolution as 10 years of civil unrest or 10 years of devastation. Instead, it is now combined with all other periods and vaguely referred to as a period in which the CCP was painstakingly trying to find out a correct way to go for China. So now everything looks perfect, no more mistakes, not even past mistakes for the CCP. Is China going back to Mao's time? Looks like so. That's why many overseas Chinese people feel very worried. We should all feel worried. An increasingly left-leaning and power-hungry CCP with a stronger military and deeper pockets must never be left unchecked. People have to understand the evil nature of the CCP and not let history repeat itself. Please share this message with people you know and subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Please also like my videos and leave us some comments. That's all for today's Inconvenient Truths. Thank you very much for watching. See you soon.